Today we started looking at how to use a website called Pixlr. So go to your classes page if you're not already there and click on the link that I share with you, pixlr.com/editor, and that will bring up the Pixlr website. Then click on create a new image, title it your last name _ practice, and click OK. Make sure you're following along with me. Now, a couple things. You are going to see an ad on the right side of your screen unless you have some sort of ad block turned on. So go up to the hamburger menu here and click on it. And you'll probably have to zoom in 1, 2, maybe 3 times, and that ad will eventually disappear from the screen, which will save you some real estate there. Then click login and click sign in with Google. Choose your account. And if it asks you to allow, make sure you click allow, and everything's good with that. Then you'll have this window, which is your last name _ practice, as well as a bunch of different things that I will explain to you as we go. Pixlr, in case you don't know, is like a free online version of Photoshop, which allows you to do all kinds of fun things with photos. And we'll be using it to eventually create a magazine cover where you will be the cover story in some sort of thing that you would like to do in your future, whether it's become a famous business person or star athlete or whatever it is. You'll put yourself on the cover of a magazine, and I'll show you some examples of those as we go. Now, first of all, we need to get a picture to work with. So open up a new tab, click on images, and search for, let's just search for dog. And remember, use your search tools, check your usage rights, labeled for non-commercial reuse with modification. Change your type. Well, we only want photos here. And choose size. And change it to medium. One thing that you'll find with this website is because it is web-based and because it's free, it does occasionally crash. If you don't get images that are gigantic, it's much less likely to crash. Okay, then choose this picture right here of this dog by clicking on it and clicking on View Image. Remember, that is where you get the highest quality version of the picture. Then right-click, copy the image URL, which is the web address, and switch back to Pixlr. Go to the File menu, click on it, and choose Open Image URL. And without doing anything else, paste the address in that box. And then click OK. Now the picture will pop up in a new window called Untitled. So this is a window and this is a window. Just like if you're working on your computer workspace, your computer desktop, excuse me, you have multiple windows. So I've got windows under here and whatever. So then we're going to use our first tool, which is called the Marquee tool, which is this guy right over here. The keyboard shortcut for that is just pressing the letter M. And that allows you to select a part of an image. What I'd like you to do is click and drag so that you select the dog and just the dog. Okay, so try to eliminate as much of the background as possible. So something like this. Then once you've done that, copy and go to your other window and paste. By the way, keyboard shortcuts are going to be your friend for using this type of product. The more you know for your keyboard shortcuts, the better off you're going to be. And if you ever forget any of them, ask someone around you, and certainly they will know. There's certain ones I expect you to know. Copy, paste, cut, save, undo, things like that. All right, so obviously we've got some empty space here. This picture is smaller than our source canvas here. And I'd like you to take a look over here at the navigator window. Now this little white bar is a slider. And if you click to the right, click and drag to the right, it zooms in. If you click and drag to the left, it zooms out. And this white space is nothingness. So zoom out until you can see this dark gray area here. And then go to the Edit menu. Now, these keyboard shortcuts, which, hey, look at that. There's a bunch of reminders of the different keyboard shortcuts you might need to know, are all going to work. One that does not work is Free Transform. Free Transform is Control-T, but you'll notice if you go to press Control-T, it just opens up a new tab, and you might have already known that. And if you did, high five. But instead, we're going to use free transform just by clicking on it. And then you get these familiar handles. You've seen this before when you have created something in PowerPoint or Google Docs, or you click on an image, it gives you handles. And normally I tell you to click on the corner handles because that keeps the same proportions. But in this case, wait a second, it's not working. Well, it does, but only if you press Shift while using those corners. Zoom in by resizing the picture so that there's no white space. So you end up with something like this. So the dog basically takes up the entire image. Then to finalize that, either press Return or the Enter key. And now you'll end up with a picture that looks something like this. Next step, go to the File menu and choose Save. If you're working on this at home, you're going to need to be able to access this at school. If you're working on it at school, you might want to access it outside of school. In order to do that, don't save to your computer, save to the Pixlr library. And then, name's already there. Format needs to change though. Format needs to change to PXD. And I'll explain why in a future class, but it needs to be that format. And I want you to get used to it. Click OK, and it'll take a couple seconds to save. Now, if the site does crash, or if for some reason you need to close your window, all you got to do to get it back is just go to Open Image from Library and go to the folder where you saved it, which most likely for you is just going to be called New Folder, and then open up your image. Very easy. Or if you already have images open, go to File, Open Image Library. Okay, so I've showed you free transform, I showed you saving, and I've showed you the marquee. And I need to remind you that the things that I'm going to show you could very easily be used in a way that could get you in lots of trouble. So be smart. Use these things in positive ways, not in ways that could get you in trouble. Use your brain, as always. Next tool I'm going to show you is right down here. It looks like a rubber stamp. It's called Clone Stamp. Here's how it works. Maybe I decide one day that I want to have a dog with 3 eyes, and I want to see what that would look like. Well, I can do that very easily. That was easy. Okay. I can even make it look more realistic, like so. And the Clone Stamp tool allows me to do that. Maybe I want a dog that has noses where its eyes should be. That was easy. So here's what I'm doing. With the Clone Stamp tool, you click on it, then you move your mouse where you want to copy something, or you want to copy from, I should say. And this circle, which, by the way, I made larger by going up to my options up here, and I just chose a larger brush size. Then I move my mouse to the center of that object, which in this case is an eye, and I hold the Control key. My cursor changes to a little crosshairs instead of a circle. Then I click my mouse while still holding Control, and then I go up to where I want to put the thing that I just copied. It's called sampling, and this is called cloning. Now when I click and drag my mouse, notice on the dog's left eye, which is on the right side of the screen, there's a small crosshairs moving around, and that is telling you what it's sampling from. Okay, so one more time, I hold Control and I click on what I want to sample, then I let go of Control and I drag my mouse elsewhere, and while still holding my mouse button in, I drag around until I get a copy. You can also use this to remove things. So maybe I don't want this dog to have this ear anymore, so I sample some of his fur and I just start drawing over top of it. And then eventually the dog no longer has, that colored ear. And undo works, folks. Control Z. You have 15 layers of undo. If you go too far, close the window and open up that image again. Very simple. All right, one other tool I want to just quickly show you is called Spot Heal. Looks like a Band-Aid. It's over here. Let me zoom in on that again. There we go. Spot Heal works like this. And for this, I'm going to actually bring up an example of a person with acne, which I guess might be relevant to some people. I had an acne issue when I was in junior high. I wasn't happy about it. All right, so let's say you took a picture and it's awesome, except there's a zip. Okay, I'm going to make my brush a little bit bigger. I clicked on the Spot Heal, And all it does is it analyzes the space around it, and then it takes the colors that are around where you clicked, and it brings those colors in. And it's honestly, it's one click. It's that quick. You can use it to remove things from people's teeth. You can use it to remove things from the background. Pretty easy. Now, nothing is handed in for today. I just want you to practice these tools: the Marquee, Free Transform, Spot Heal, and Clone Stamp. Good luck. Let me know how you make out.